Welcome to my channel, where there are interesting and equally sensational stories. Listen to today's story. Sometimes it's hard to see past the fog that is infidelity. Can even have us questioning our own sanity. Today on Our Space, do we wait for the fog to lift, or do we walk blindly forward and trust our feet beneath us? You be the judge. Snapchat shenanigans when emotional affairs make for a memorable marriage moment. My wife is having an emotional affair. I'm writing this from a hotel room as I just found out my wife for 7 years has been having an emotional affair on Snapchat with a work colleague of hers for 2 months. Really finding it difficult to come to terms with what the F just happened. We'd built this amazing life together, have a beautiful home, and great jobs. All that seems like it's been destroyed, and it feels like my whole world is falling apart. Even though there's been nothing physical from what I can establish, I still feel absolutely crushed and betrayed. She owned up to it straight away and was on her knees begging me not to leave. I told her I need a night to be alone as I have no idea how the hell to come to terms with it. We've been together for 12 years, and I absolutely adore her and love her to death. But at this stage, it's too raw to see how it can move forward with or without her. Everyone's circumstances and opinions are different. I get that, but I really need some advice on the early stages. What are some of the worst things you can do in my position? Furthermore, I feel numb and don't know what to do. Ask for advice. You're gonna get it. Chompy Snack from the community says, don't make any rash decisions. You're going to be going through a lot of emotions, months of hard times. Don't feel like you need to stick with any decisions you make now either. She didn't stick with her vows. You have leeway to change your mind as many times as you want, whenever you want. She needs to leave the job for your marriage to have a chance. She needs to go no contact with him. You need full access to her phone and location at all times. To be honest, you can never fully trust her again. You need to discover if you can live in a world where your most intimate partner doesn't consider you her most intimate partner. It took me about 6 months of PTSD to realize that I needed to move on from being in that world after half my life with her. Good luck, friend. Okay. Prune 3952 chimes in next. If it is a coworker, the chance that it is just in motion is slim to none. How do you know it was not physical? Best of Flex wants to say, dude has not worn down her moral compass yet. You have to understand how related each work. It's a battle between a significant other's moral compass and the attractiveness smooth talking of the coworker. The less of the moral compass, the less work is needed from the POS coworker. Moral compass is impaired by a situation at home, and the coworker looks or smooth talk. Easier to get laid when the target is in a bad, rocky, or boring relationship than when all lights are green. It starts as a game. He sees cute. Why would they be interested in me? And the significant other bites the bait. Then it's smooth or dirty talk wearing down the moral compass defenses up until you get to the emotional affair, sharing intimate problems, preferences, etc. And if the POS plays their cards right, they will multiply the one-on-one occurrences when things could happen until they do and bam, physical affair. So if you're in this situation, you shut that crap up ASAP and avoid at all costs playing the game. Attorneys' offices are full of very straight people that thought they could outplay the player and fell in the trap because committed relationships are work when cheating is just thrill until the trade party catches up and, hopefully, give them a reality check. Next up, Bookbird says, a coworker. You just found out, brother. There's so much more you don't know. One of the worst things you can do is believe anything she says. Leiden says, yeah, a history of working and flirting and seeing each other every day, if it's a normal 9 to 5, before it even leads to the emotional affair on Snapchat, which is an app that intentionally deletes all conversations automatically and almost instantly. Troubleshoot is in his future for sure. The number one source of a pair of partners is coworkers. I think there's a lot of truth in what comments are saying. You absolutely do not need to make a decision now. I think in times like these, everything becomes such a blur that it's hard to really see anything clearly and even make sense of what you're feeling. It just feels like you're caught in a storm. Best to take your time so you can see the road ahead of you a little bit more clearly, as there's a lot lurking in the shadows, right, that you need to uncover first. Your well-being is the most important thing right now. Updates in the comments section 22 days later. Firstly, I just wanted to reach out and say thanks for all your comments, whether it was supportive, constructive, or informative. It really helped and maybe realized I'm not alone. I'm sorry it's taken so long for an update, but I'm an absolute mess. I ended the marriage and told her I want a divorce. It's something that I cannot live with or ever forgive for that matter. Every day, she's begging me not to leave and is hysterically crying. I have no sympathy for her tears. As I bet, she wasn't crying when she was sending inappropriate messages to her coworker. I sent screenshots of the messages to the coworker's wife, as she has a right to know. I haven't gotten a response, but I have no doubt she's probably experiencing similar feelings to me. I'm seeing a therapist today to start my healing process before I fall into a slump of depression. This really sucks. You're totally right. The situation does suck, but it's so refreshing to see that you are taking care of yourself and starting your healing journey. You absolutely are not alone, and that fact alone is disappointing. People shouldn't have to go through this, but you will make it out alive. Do you have a similar story? We want to hear it. Share it with us in the comments. Next up, Man-Child Chronicles. Can't Buy Me Love. How to move on from my ex. Yesterday, my female 21, now ex, male 25, told me he had sex with another girl and then had sex with me a week later. He still texts this girl and he's bashing my name. The girl told him that if he blocks her, she will look for me and harm me. My ex trusts her and said he doesn't care, and he will never block her. But he came over today and said that he wants to move in with me, and I have to keep paying for his truck. How do I move on? Update. Does a man love a woman if he spends all his money on her? The girl that my ex cheated on me said that he spent a lot of money on her and nearly maxed out his credit card. She said that she knows that he loves her because he spent all his money on her. She keeps calling and sending pictures of all the places he went with her and keeps telling me how happy he was with her. My ex, however, told me he only said all of that to her because she threatened to tell me about them. I just want to know if what she said is true. A man really loves a woman if he spends all his money on her? My question is, does a man love a woman if he spends all of his money on her? Love is really a subjective thing. I think what's important in situations like this is that we practice self-love and really try to get rid of what's harming us mentally. Doesn't seem like it's a very healthy or safe environment you're putting yourself through by staying in contact with these people. Some people will say or do anything just to hurt someone. Update. He finally asked the girl to be his girlfriend because they fight, but they laugh and have good times. And for me, he said, we only have bad times. Excuse me. But when I'm paying for all your crap, I'm pretty sure that would stress me out. And the new girlfriend was like, you're now the side chick and the crazy ex. Anyways, the two trash are taking each other out. Edit. Reading all your comments is making me feel less crappy about myself. Thank you. Update. Messaged me on WhatsApp and called me names and said I ruined his life and I baited him because he didn't receive his payment today. And then he threatened to make his girlfriend send over all the things they did, and he said he will make me cry. But I'm unbothered now. I cried a lot for the last 2 weeks. Don't get me wrong. I still get sad, but I'm at a point where I don't really care anymore. So yeah. He started spamming me and calling me for the money. And I told him I was on a date, and he was bothering me. And he said he's literally all over the place. I plan on getting a restraining order on him and her next week before he comes back from Mexico. Update. Hey, y'all. They broke up yesterday, and she kept calling me again from a private number. I haven't been on social media the last few weeks because it was toxic for me. But it decided that I'm okay to check it out, and guess what? She's been bashing my name on her Facebook posts. Update. Finally, update on the ex and coworker. He reached out to me demanding money again. This time, he's freaking out, and he's scared. He has no more gas money. He has to pay his mom $800 for breaking the doors in her house, when she kicked him out. Oh, and his friends all blocked him. Update. He just sent me multiple messages that he and his new girlfriend will take me to court because I messaged his friends. The screenshot that his girlfriend sent me to make me jealous, and his friends all blocked him. Now let's see what the community thinks about this. Zandando says, "Oh, no. If it isn't the consequences of my actions, how old is your acts like 15? Dude sounds like a child. Following the footsteps of his friends and block him and his new girlfriend as well. Don't need that immaturity in your life. Move on and move up. You shouldn't have to babysit him anymore. OP, place your energies elsewhere." What are your thoughts? Would you give your ex the time of day if they behaved this way? Newlywed hit and miss, a not-so-white wedding. We didn't believe in sex before marriage. My ex and I met online through friends who attended the same kind of church we attended. It was common to have some matching within our denomination as we were in our late 20s and ready to settle down. He was cute. We liked the same things, and more importantly, we had the same religious values. Or so I thought. We dated for a few months, and once we agreed we wanted the same things out of life, we met in person, spent time at each other's churches, and ultimately decided we wanted to start a life together. Mind you, my previous religious convictions were no stranger to swift engagements because we didn't believe in having sex before marriage. Neither of us were virgins, but we had both converted, and we both wanted to wait for marriage this time around, or so he told me. And they view love as something you learn along the way rather than taking the time to build it before marriage. Okay. So within 9 months, we have our wedding. It was small and quaint, and I was so excited and happy. Our honeymoon was basically the drive from my state where we got married and his state where we were going to live. This is where it gets fun. We were sightseeing, and he took a picture of me. I felt cute and wanted to see it. So I asked for his phone, and dude actually handed it to me. As I'm looking at it, feeling myself a newlywed bliss, a text pops up. It's just a number, no saved name, and it read, "Hey, I haven't heard from you in a couple of days. What's up?" Oh, what? So I start scrolling, and it was bad. To sum it up, he had been seeing this girl the entire time we were dating and engaged. There were explicit texts between them, and it was obvious they were sleeping together. I got out my magnifying glass and was able to sync up a timeline where they were even together the day I was making our wedding decorations, and he was texting me at the same time. He was telling her I was just a friend when she asked about a pic of me on his Facebook that was public. He was even texting her the night before our wedding. I was in complete shock and totally heartbroken. We got to our hotel that night, and I had to watch my brand new husband break up with his side chick via text. Telling her he is married now and see her respond. "It's that girl from that picture. You married her?" I wish I could say I turned my butt back around and got the marriage annulled. But I didn't. I didn't feel like I could get divorced at that time, and I was stranded with no one in my corner. A few months later, I found condoms in his car while cleaning it out, like a good housewife. He was awful, to be honest. We were married 4 years before I started confronting him with the way he treated me with the help of some friends I made after we moved out of state and went to a new kind of church. Turns out, he didn't like a wife who stood up for herself, and he left me. I was happy to see him go. Everyone in my new chair supported me since he left me with almost nothing. 2 months after he left, he knocked up a girl and proposed to her before our divorce papers were in. You can probably do the math on that one. That poor girl. As for me, I am happily working on myself and no longer allowing douchebags in my life. Hair flip. Never been happier. Oh, I'm happy to hear that you're happily working on yourself after all that but an absolute headache. Not to mention a heartbreak. It's unfortunate that you felt you couldn't leave him after finding out his infidelity. I'm sorry he treated you the way he did. I wonder if he was behaving that way and waiting for you to leave all along, but you never did. Finally, He had no choice. His plan backfired and he decided to leave. Some people like your ex truly try to make life hard for their partners so they don't have the responsibility of leaving. He didn't want someone who asked questions. More importantly, someone who questioned him. He was looking for a quiet little housewife that would make it look like he had the perfect life on the outside. What do you think? Have you ever tried to leave a relationship but felt you couldn't? Let us know below. And thank you for joining us today on Our Space. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. We'd hate for you to miss one. Until next time.